Noli has finally dropped Forsaken. Let's go! Now I've had to scroll through Forsaken remakes on Roblox, and I finally have something to make content about. The devs took way too long to release this update, probably too busy gooning to Bright Eyes and creating some trash skins nobody cares about. I'm joking, I really did like a lot of these skins. The Diva Miku for 1x and Tito 2x skin is just so good, and I just love them. 1x mains were eating well this update. Anyway, Noli as I continued to play and play against had always felt strangely underwhelming. Perhaps this was due to the community hyperventilating about how broken Noli was going to be, and I had expected a lot more. Anyways, I'm not gonna delay this any longer. You guys came to see Noli, and I'm gonna give you Noli. This video is going to be put into 3 parts. How Noli works, Noli's pros and cons, and then I'll finally wrap up the video by answering the question, is Noli good? Noli was originally said to be a trapping killer, although the original concept was realized by the devs to be a hell to play and play against, so they changed this up. His main gimmick is to provide hallucination effect on survivors through his abilities, which can cause survivors to imagine fake versions of him. This will also cause fake healing and items and timers to glitch out, but these effects will not be that much of a hindrance during your gameplay. Being hit by Noli will remove hallucination stacks, and survivors with a hallucination will begin to glow to Noli. Abilities that can provide hallucination are Void Rush, Observant, and completing fake generators. There are a lot of ways to avoid fake generators, like misspelled text and the generators being of a strange color. Now, let's get into a better understanding of his abilities. His M1 or mouse click ability is Slash. It does 25 damage without applying other additional effects, and has a pretty long windup of 0.4 seconds. This can be easily punishable by survivors like Guest. His ability is Prankster, but unlike its Pokemon counterpart, it creates fake generators instead. Keep in mind, Noli can spawn at any generator, real or fake. His new ability is Void Rush, the main ability of his kit. It charges up and does 10 damage upon hitting a survivor. Getting hit will provide Hallucination 2 for 20 seconds. After this, Noli can provide a Re-Rush, which does 10 damage, but if Re-Rush hits a survivor with Hallucination 2 or above, it does 30 damage by slamming them onto the ground. This means you can rush one survivor, re-rush into another survivor that does not have hallucination stacks, and since there was no ground slam, re-rush can be done again into another survivor, continuing until the ground slam. Upon hitting a wall, Noli will be slowed down for a bit with the line, "Ow, my leg," before speeding up a bit after a while. You can turn in Void Rush, but it's a pretty terrible drift, and it will only make a raw Void Rush just a little bit easier to land than a raw walk speed override. His E ability is Nova, where it chucks a star-like object that explodes, dealing area of effect damage and pulls anything into it upon hitting. This deals 15 damage, no additional effects. It can also be detonated early, but this decreases the explosion radius. His final ability R is Observant, where all generators will get highlighted and a warning is visible and audible from all generators. Hallucination is applied to all survivors and highlights them upon teleporting. There's a cooldown at the beginning of the match, preventing Noli from jumping survivors immediately. He can be stunned during the windup, but cannot upon teleporting. Anyways, how do these abilities make Noli good? Well, being able to teleport 2 generators allow Noli to quickly travel to survivors, potentially getting the jump on them. If Noli chases a survivor in the direction of a generator, he can hide, teleport to that generator, and jump them just like that as well. He might as well just spam it too, since racking up hallucinations will often allow him to instantly slam the survivor down upon the first hit. Hallucination itself makes sure that Noli never struggles with tracking. Observant is extremely good for him to clear distance and last man standing. His Nova is extremely spammable, being able to hit survivors easily due to the explosion having a huge radius. His main source of damage is Void Rush, which is pretty easy to land and deals a lot of damage, making a great way to close in onto a survivor. His hallucinations are incredibly impactful, since his Mirage can't kill, does not damage, and there's very obvious ways to tell it's a hallucination. For one, you do not gain a speed boost upon being hit, you will not be able to use any abilities, and there's no visible screen shake upon getting hit by it. This doesn't mean they're entirely useless, as I've often been caught lacking and wasted abilities on them. So, with all this in mind, does the Noli have any downsides? He can easily jump survivors using Observant, Void Rush survivors to close in gaps, and spam Nova. How can Noli even be fair? Well, that was something I was wondering too when playing against Noli. Why were his chases so underwhelming? Was it perhaps due to the fact that the player base did not necessarily understand how to play him? Possibly, but I had gotten the hang of Noli very easily within just a few minutes of the first match I ever played with him, so I doubted this was the case. But what Noli does lack is his speed and damage. When you look at Noli's base speed, you might at first realize that he isn't even the slowest killer, being at 27.5 base speed. This makes him faster than John Doe at 27.25 and 1x at 27. The only killers that are faster than him are Jason and Cool Kid, and those have 28. The thing is, John Doe and 1x have ways to buff their own speed. John Doe, through all of his moves being able to, plus his unstoppable passive, and 1x using Entanglement and Unstable Eye. Noli has no way of getting himself out of 27.5 speed whatsoever, making his chases much less overwhelming rather than a speedy John Doe or 1x sniping you from halfway across the map. If we're talking about speed, we might as well also account for his attacks as well. His M1s are extremely slow, 0.4 second windup, meaning survivors can easily take the time to juke or block with guess. His Nova has almost a 1 second charge up, allowing survivors to predict when to move away. 15 damage without slowing the survivor whatsoever does not allow for a free hit afterward like Corrupt Nature on Cool Kid. His voice ability might be fast, but I'll go over the problems with it later. Right now, just keep in mind the windup is very long and very easy to tell whether or not he's going to use it. While you can say he can teleport to generators, and that is 100% true. If you're far from a survivor and you see them due to a hallucination, it is very easy to teleport onto them, as there will always be a generator closer to them than your current position. The issue is, you're still going to have to chase the survivor, and as we mentioned, that's kind of difficult due to his lack of speed and easy to detect moves. The other problem is his damage. Jason, 1x, and John Doe all have the ability to do 28 damage with their M1s, Jason and 1x using their effects applied through their hits. Noli only does 25, the lowest out of the killers. 15 damage isn't going to do a lot with Nova, and while you can say it's spammable, the windup makes it easily noticeable. Void Rush is his most damaging move, but there's a major issue with Void Rush, doing most of the damage during the actual re-rush. If you hit a guess with Rush, he'll just block your re-rush. There's also a chance that during your rush, someone will stun you during your re-rush. It's also a very unreliable way to deal damage afterward, since sometimes you'll just often only do 10 damage. Noli's biggest issue is walls. Yes, you heard me right. You can't control or turn his Void Rush easily, so often a wall will be able to stop him from hitting you. Looping around one makes it really difficult for Noli to do anything to you. Sure, Nova has an explosion that can hit you through a wall if you're looping around a smaller object, but it has a difficult time doing that, and you can just move away from the wall. I also want to quickly take the time to compare Noli to Cool Kid, since they are both really similar. Corrupt Nature and Nova both do 15 damage, but Corrupt Nature can slow the players down, has no windup, and can go through walls. Nova does not throw players down, has a long enough windup to be recognized, and it does not go through walls. Void Rush, I admit, is a better walk speed override, but just in general, Cool Kid is just a much faster killer. His moves are fast and allow him to sweep quickly, while ironic Noli's moves bottleneck him, making him a really tame killer to play against. Now, I'll conclude my thoughts. Noli is by no means underpowered or unbalanced. While he has a lot of potential and is an extremely fun killer with many diverse playstyles, he has drawbacks that pull him down to make him any other killer. My comparison to him and Cool Kid is not there to prove Cool Kid is broken, although I really do hate playing against Cool Kid. Heck, at least Noli doesn't struggle trying to find a survivor half the round. He's not a hard killer to pick up. I think both new and seasoned players will have a lot of fun playing him. Overall, I think Noli's design and concept, his hallucination gimmick, really caught my attention when I heard about him, and I would say it's a really beautiful and unique designed killer. Of course, what's more beautiful and unique are you, my dear subscribers. Prince here, and have a good day.